Hello, welcome back to my channel. Do you remember a time when body positivity was somewhat embraced? I say somewhat because body positivity and body diversity has never ever been truly accepted. We're always one comment, campaign, or video away from disrespecting people based on how they physically look.
I hate using this kid's video because it feels like I'm beating down, but it is the perfect example of the biggest problem that young men are facing today. You are solving for the wrong problem. Even if he had that shit on, no one is paying attention to this dude's fits because of how big he is. He shouldn't be fashion maxing, he should be gym maxing.
Ready? So it is a Skims campaign, and it is a woman that is in a bra and underwear. Skims is the undergarment brand that is owned by Kim Kardashian. She's in a bra and underwear, and she's in a wheelchair. And it says Skims, made for everybody, available now. Really? That's all I'm gonna say is really. I don't really understand how far we're gonna take this inclusivity thing. I really don't get it. I don't know. I'm just getting tired of this all inclusivity thing. It seems ridiculous. I mean, maybe on crutches and be like, well, how come we don't have a girl that's broken her leg on crutches, also in a bra and underwear? I don't feel included.
And I want to mention something about pretty privilege, but I've already made a couple of videos on the topic, so check it out if you're interested. And when I say that we're always one step away from shaming people for their physical appearance, paid national or international ads are no exception. Back when body positivity was at its peak, and when it was part of pop culture and in the mainstream, people felt confident to post online and show up in real life with the message of, you can love and accept your body exactly the way that it is. And that's a really great message to have, because not everyone will or can fit into the singular body standard. And not being able to conform to that shouldn't stop anyone from living their life as authentically as they can. And as expected of our capitalist society, businesses and industries were doing their best to cash in on this new body positivity movement. It was in the music with songs like All About That Bass by Meghan Trainor and Anaconda by Nicki Minaj. It was on billboards and ads. There was also a decrease in photo shoot editing or a total lack of editing as the main selling point of the product or the campaign. It was also in movies like Dumpling, I Feel Pretty, and Thunder Force. And it was also on the runway with models like Ashley Graham. Of course, it wasn't exactly a perfect time, but there was a pretty good attempt at representation. Now, if you've noticed, based on the media that I've used so far as examples, you'll realize that body positivity mostly focuses on body size or weight. Although there is mass media and social media content that focuses on body diversity, disabilities, and other quote-unquote imperfections that makes one unique, it is in the minority. And side note, I really hate calling things on people imperfections because half the time it's acquired naturally and then the other half it's caused by some sort of accident, injury, or illness. And it's just weird to call something on somebody's body or something that makes them who they are an imperfection. But moving on, weight and body size are the unofficial face of the body positivity movement. It wasn't exactly intentional, but it just kind of evolved to be this way, and most people think of weight and obesity when they hear body positivity. So this will be the part where I remind you that we are talking about the body positivity movement and not the fat acceptance movement. Body positivity does stem from the fat acceptance movement, which I will discuss in more detail later. But they are not the same, and I want to make the distinction now. The media and most people's understanding of the body positivity movement is the glorification of obesity and unhealthy habits. They forget it's about body inclusion, which is the core idea of the movement, and they simply boil it down to people just want to promote unhealthy fat people. But no, there are burn victims, people with missing limbs, and people with non-curable genetic diseases, which impacts the way that they look. And then there's also people that just have body changes like becoming pregnant, which may lead to having stretch marks. They and everybody in between is a part of body diversity. It's an inclusive movement, and that part shouldn't be forgotten. So now, let's technically define and differentiate between the body positivity movement and the fat acceptance movement, which are often conflated and confused with each other. Body positivity is a social movement that promotes a positive view of all bodies, regardless of size, shape, skin tone, gender, and physical abilities. While the fat acceptance movement is a social movement which seeks to eliminate the social stigma of obesity. It more specifically focuses on weight. So keep that in mind throughout this video. And in essence, this video is about how we went from accepting, or at least pretending to accept, diverse bodies to now hating them on ourselves and others. If there was ever any confusion from a few years ago about the internet being split down the middle on body positivity, then this year has made a very definitive stamp on collectively moving away from body positivity and body diversity. It's not particularly new that skinny is quote-unquote in and everything else is out. There's definitely a trend cycle, as dystopian as that sounds, where women's bodies go in and out of fashion. In terms of history and where we are now, I think it's better to start from the fat rights movement because the body positivity movement originated from it. In 1969, a man named Bill was upset about the discrimination that his wife Joyce was facing due to her weight. He was inspired by an article that wrote about the mistreatment of overweight people, and he decided to distribute copies and form a small group. That group would later turn into the foundation of the National Association to Aid Fat Americans, and it is now the oldest organization which advocates for fat acceptance rights globally. But despite many efforts over the years, the movement struggled to really change how the general population reacts and relates to people who are overweight. And a huge stain on the legacy of the movement is that despite it fighting for the rights and the acceptance of fat people, it wasn't very accepting of people of color. As the years went by, the movement eventually broadened its reach to include different body types and promote acceptance. But in my opinion, that whole movement and the message was totally derailed in the 90s and the early 2000s with the rise and popularity of heroin chic and runway supermodels. Then came the early 2010s, and the body positivity movement that we know today was born. According to a research paper, the body positivity movement is believed to have started on Instagram in 2012, aiming to confront the unrealistic expectations and portrayals of women in the media and advertising. This was also the era of the BBL body, or the slim thick body, which is comprised of a slim waist, a big butt with wide hips. This new idealized beauty standard is largely attributed to people like Kim Kardashian, who helped popularize it through mainstream media and social media platforms. It's also interesting to note that hashtags like #bodypositivity started trending the same year that Kim Kardashian joined Instagram, which was February of 2012. So currently in 2024, the praise and acceptance of different body types has dwindled. People are more bold about shaming different body types, and the new quote-unquote trending body type is being skinny or slender. Before, if you called someone big back or you judged someone on how their body doesn't fit into the conventional body standard, you would be shut down and people would call you out. But now it's become almost a thing of the past and more of a big joke. I believe that there are multiple reasons why there is this cultural shift in body diversity and why body positivity has now been replaced with a singular idealized body type. So now, and in no particular order, let's look at some of the reasons that I think that there has been this societal shift. The big back trend is all about enjoying, thinking of, and wanting to eat food, but it's also about making fun of the fact that if you enjoy eating, then you are fat, especially if it's ultra-processed foods or fast food. You have people stuffing their clothes to appear bigger and walking funny as the weight is too much for them to carry on their bodies. The joke is supposed to be having an exaggerated big back or a big body to represent your love of food. But the thing about this trend is, there are people that actually look like what is being made fun of, And because nobody wants to be made fun of, it's gonna push people to want to get slimmer to avoid being the butt of the joke, even if it's not a healthy or sustainable approach. It's especially hard when bullying or hate is disguised as comedy because it's hard to call it out without being told that you can't take a joke or that you're ruining the fun for others. There are even theme songs and song remixes, which makes the whole trend a bigger joke than it already is.
Sing it. Sing it.
Big back, big back, big back, big back. Yeah, my back is loaded up with snacks and different foods. Squeeze into this tiny shirt, my big back has no room.
Big back, big back.
The way in which people switched up on Victoria's Secret from 2019 to 2024 needs to be studied. The brand literally went from being absolutely hated and dogpiled for the lack of diversity in models to now having people tell the brand that they want them to return to the original fashion show, which was more exclusionary.
Victoria's Secret just announced this morning that the fashion show is back, and for real this time. First of all, the video that they posted to announce it is so iconic. We see Candace Swanepoel texting a group called the VS Squad, model to the runway this fall, pack your wings. We are back. And I know what you're thinking. Wait, didn't they bring back the fashion show last year? Yes, kind of, not really. It was more like a documentary and it was on Prime Video. It's called Victoria's Secret, The Tour, and if you watched it, then you know that it was very different than their classic fashion shows. But this year, they said it's gonna be just like their original fashion shows, while focusing on how they've developed as a brand and their values. You can see it in the caption here. We read the comments and heard you. The Victoria's Secret fashion show is back and will reflect who we are today, plus everything you know and love. The glamour, runway, wings, musical entertainment, and more. Stay tuned, it only gets more iconic from here.
Just look at some of the comments after they had their comeback show. A comeback show, or a documentary as they called it, which was ridiculed up and down the internet and condemned for being so bad. People calling for less diversity is fairly new if you look at the trends on social media and call to actions over the past few years. Although people with huge platforms do push against diversity, this was one of the few instances where the internet was so vocal against the diversity that they themselves had asked for. This is very different from what we're used to seeing online, and this just supports that there's a negative cultural shift when it comes to how body positivity and body diversity is perceived. You can't talk about beauty standards or body standards in the 2010s without talking about the Kardashians. When people started noticing that Kim, Khloe, and then Kylie were looking noticeably smaller in 2021 and 2023, conversations started happening about how curvy bodies were out and slimmer bodies are in. And that's no surprise because the people that are best known for popularizing such curvy body types had gotten them removed. What these women did with their bodies was enough for people to start trending hashtags like the end of the BBL era or the end of the BBL body. Ozempic and other weight loss drugs, which are available on the market, have now captured public attention and support, unlike all the other weight loss options that were offered in the past. This includes things like teas, gummies, and even weight loss surgery, which are now no match for the convenience and cost of Ozempic. People don't even care that these drugs are for diabetics, they just want to get slimmer. This trend started after multiple celebrities were seen visibly smaller than they have ever looked.
Oprah Winfrey has finally confirmed she uses weight loss medication after months of speculation. "I now use it as I feel I need it, as a tool to manage not yo-yoing," she stated. "The fact that there's a medically approved prescription for managing weight and staying healthier in my lifetime feels like a relief, and not something to hide behind and once again be ridiculed for." The famed talk show host did not disclose exactly which drug she took and whether it was type 2 diabetes medication, Ozempic. However, Winfrey, whose weight has fluctuated for years, revealed she became more open to turning to a pharmaceutical after conducting a panel discussion with medical experts in July. The media mogul has previously expressed during that chat that she believed turning to meds was taking the easy way out.
And the few celebrities who opened up about using these weight loss drugs, with their stamp of approval, it naturally trickled down to the masses, and now people wanted to get them as well. You can never underestimate the power of celebrity influence, and that was what was happening with Ozempic. On average, clothing stores don't carry extra large sizes in their physical stores. If you want those sizes, you have to resort to ordering online. So to capitalize on the new body positivity movement, a lot of clothing brands started offering bigger sizes in their physical stores. And they also increased their size offerings online to tap into the plus size consumer market. But now, a lot of these same brands are sizing down, not only online, but in store.
The erasure of the plus size model has been crazy to witness in real time. It's been an ongoing conversation ever since body positivity really became trendy, but we've been noticing a very abrupt shift over the last year. Before I got pregnant, I was working 5 days a week nonstop, even through the pandemic. And I got really burnt out from that, cut a few clients off, and started working like 2 to 3 days a week, and that was perfect for me. And then I got pregnant, and I was really nervous because I was like, oh, work is gonna slow down, and it did. But I don't think it was because of my pregnancy. Every plus size model that I talk to now says that there is no work out there for them. And the most common solution to the problem has been weight loss. And I was actually speaking to a model friend yesterday about this, how former plus size models have been losing a significant amount of weight. Now, I have no problem with weight loss. I'm on a weight loss journey myself, but the shift has been dramatic and done in a very short amount of time. Weight loss drugs are contributing to this new craze right now, but it's just so unfortunate that we've reverted back to the time where you have to lose weight to model. And obviously, this has been an ongoing conversation. Plus size creators have been talking about this. The thing that just hit me like a ton of bricks, I was doing some online window shopping and I was on Meow's website. They introduced extended sizes in 2022 when they did a collab with Paloma. So I'm on there looking and I noticed their extended size tab was gone. I go to filter the clothing by size and they all stop at an extra large. They eliminated their extended size range. The new plus is a size large. We never stopped advocating for ourselves, but it seems like everyone else did.
This has made it harder for some people to shop for cute and affordable clothing, and has also created a negative stigma around weight and size because you can feel alienated if you're not able to shop for clothes like most people. And it sends a message that different body types are not accepted or included unless they fall within a certain size range. But this is a general and widespread issue when it comes to women's clothes and sizing. Very petite and skinny women also struggle with finding clothes that fit them perfectly. There's this thing called vanity sizing, and according to Forbes, it refers to labeling clothes in smaller sizes than they actually are. This is to make shoppers feel like they are skinnier due to the fact that Americans have grown physically larger.
I just saw a video of a girl trying on a Brandy Melville outfit and it didn't fit her, and obviously she's really skinny. I think they made their sizes bigger recently, and since their clothes are one size fits all, a majority of the people that used to buy their clothes are obviously skinny because the clothes used to be for skinny people, and now that they're bigger, it doesn't even fit their majority audience. And my thing is, instead of just making the clothes bigger, why not just add sizes? Like, how does that make sense? Because the bigger people weren't going to shop there anyways because they've never shopped there in their life. And then the skinny people who actually buy their clothes can't fit into their clothes anymore. So what was the thought process behind making the clothes bigger? Why not just add sizes? I don't understand this. Like, what?
In the latest autumn/winter 2024 fashion season, there has been a noticeable decrease in diverse body types on the runway. And I know that high fashion has its own rules and standards, but a few seasons ago, these same brands tried to be more inclusive. But according to this Vogue article, they've mostly reverted back to the straight body type. This means that they started making changes to be more inclusive, but then suddenly changed their mind halfway through. The article looks at the diversity of the fashion shows in the 4 of the major fashion cities: New York, London, Milan, and Paris. In terms of cities for the 2024 season, Milan was the least size inclusive, while London remained the most size inclusive city. And as you can see from the data, straight size dominates over mid-size and plus size. The reason why body diversity matters at high places like runway shows and the fashion industry is because it has a trickle-down effect. If these top luxury brands and the fashion capitals of the world set the pace, others will definitely follow, and things like size diversity and other types of representation will become more normalized. As it stands, it's difficult to establish that there's any kind of direct link between the fashion industry scaling back on size inclusivity and that having a direct influence on other clothing retailers, but the timing is coincidental.
extended size tab was gone. I go to filter the clothing by size and they all stop at an
Brands are eliminating plus sizes and they're not telling us about it. I did a video on the same exact thing, Meow removing their plus sizes on their site. Someone tagged me in this comment. I did a whole video on it. Meow responded back to me. So let's get into what they said. They came into my DMs and basically said that they saw my video, they saw I was frustrated, they saw other people were frustrated, and that they do still offer extended sizes in their core collection. I'm not quite sure what that collection is, and that they have new pieces coming out in extended sizes shortly, and to bear with them. As you guys can see, I responded and I said thank you for the message, and then I encouraged them to share this message publicly because, again, this is happening in my DMs. And then I went on to say that so many people were hurt by the lack of discussion around the removal of extended sizes, because for a lot of us plus size girls, if we give you your money and then all of a sudden it's poof gone, we're gonna feel away. Like, that makes us feel away. And so I addressed that and I told them if they needed help to let me know. I'd be happy to talk with them on how they can market better to their people. And to that, they responded that the reality is that people weren't buying the plus sizes and that they had to cut it because they couldn't make the investment in it that they want, and that they're still coming out with the new pieces and that we should be really excited about them. They also said that they would consider on taking me up for help, and they sent me a Imogen tank top as like a token of appreciation, I suppose. Now, I want you guys to know this is not the only brand that's doing it. There are so many brands who are completely eliminating plus sizes in general. They're taking it out of their stores, they're taking it offline, or they're making it online only. We are going back in time, and I feel like I need you guys to really get it. This is harmful on so many levels, and not just for plus sizes. Yes, we care because we want to go in store, but baby, do you understand what will happen to your body image the minute we stop pushing for representation and diversity? Do you get it? Like, I don't think people are actually getting it. And that makes me so scared for us. It makes me so scared for young girls because we've been through this, guys. We know what happens. I keep saying that. We know what happens with this, and we're still doing the same thing. It's wild.
I could be wrong, but ever since Lori Harvey and Miley Cyrus swore by Pilates, it's helped shift the focus on a new idealized body standard. So let me explain. Before, it was all about doing squats and gaining weight in all the right places, but Pilates doesn't really aim for bulk or size. Instead, it's about building strength while becoming leaner and more toned. And as we all know, when celebrities endorse something, their influence helps it become mainstream. People naturally aspire to emulate celebrities, so when they share their fitness or beauty secrets, people divert to trying it with hopes that they can get the same results, which is seen as desirable on the celebrity. But the downside to all of this is, people always forget that celebrities, socialites, and influencers have all the time and money in the world to look good. It's literally their job. Whereas regular people may not have the time or money, but especially the time, to dedicate hours and hours to working out and eating healthy. Another thing is, I'm not sure which one came first. Did a skinny body become a new trend, which is what made Pilates popular because it was a way to achieve said body, or did Pilates become popular, which led to people wanting to become skinnier? I guess it's like the chicken or the egg. You don't really know which one came first. I mentioned earlier in this video that even though it's a very dystopian thing to say, physical bodies do go in and out of style, just like makeup and hair. A couple of years ago, it was the slim thick, which was the idealized body type. But now it's all about the skinny or slender body. But as we all know, your body can't afford to change to different shapes every few years just because it's a trend. And unfortunately, this realization that you can't change your body whenever there's a new trend can lead to many people having body dysmorphia, self-doubt, and deep insecurity. In terms of what's next, the pendulum always swings back, so I expect that in a few years or a decade or so, we will revert back to body positivity and body diversity. And we will collectively question ourselves as to why there was a time when we were so mean to ourselves and to others. And with that being said, this does bring me to the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Like this video, it really helps with the algorithm, subscribe, and hopefully I'll catch you in my next video.